Before jumping into the problem of knowledge and skepticism, it would make some sense to spend a little time trying to figure out exactly what skepticism is and what it entails. And I think one way to get clear on what skepticism is when philosophers are talking about the problem of knowledge and skepticism is to contrast the two kind of statements. Number one, that Jones is skeptical about astrology, and the second one, that Jones is a skeptic about life on other planets. And I think we can make the following distinction between these two statements. One means that Jones really has some doubts about the value and usefulness of astrology. Maybe Jones thinks it's a bad idea to be involved in astrology, to wait and govern your life by the restrictions of what astrology tells you, but it just says he has doubts about it. By contrast, when you consider Jones being a skeptic about life on other planets, what you're doing is making a claim that Jones thinks that you can't know anything about life on another planet. That is, two is using skepticism as a technical term in philosophy, which may be defined with the following principle, DS, the definition of skepticism. S is a skeptic about X means S believes no one, that is, no one can have knowledge about X. So Jones, when we're thinking about being skeptical about astrology, maybe he thinks it's not worthwhile. Maybe he thinks that it's true, but it's not worthwhile. There's not value in it. We shouldn't pay any attention to it. But he's not saying that it's not something that we can know things about, even though maybe many of you think we can't know anything about astrology. That's probably a pretty reasonable position. But when we're talking about skepticism in number two, and the kind of skepticism that philosophers are talking about, we're saying that Jones believes that no one can have knowledge about life on other planets. Now, it's a pretty strong claim to think that no one can have a certain kind of knowledge, and it seems pretty outrageous. And when you consider that we're going to be talking about the problem of knowledge and skepticism with regard to the external world. And remember, when we're talking about the external world, we're not talking about Mars, Venus, Jupiter, someplace in outer space. What we're talking about is knowing things about, tables, chairs, the room that we're standing in, other people, other beings. So initially, when people think about skepticism, they say that you can't know things about the external world. It strikes them as being at least borderline ludicrous. But let's take a look at some of the roots of skepticism, because I think when we look at them, we're going to discover that the idea may not be as crazy as it sounds at first.